What if the reason you feel busy all the time isn't because you have too much to do? Because you might be filling your business with sand before you've protected the rocks. So what we see is so many business owners are exhausted trying to keep up with everything. But the thing that actually moves your business forward is generally not the things that people pick to do. They keep getting pushed into, when I have free time, I will do that. Or, truly the truth is, if you don't intentionally choose your rocks, your calendar will get filled with lots of everything else, the pebbles and the sand. So today I'm going to explain to you what is the difference between rocks, pebbles, and sand. And before we kick off the episode, there is a workbook that you can download for this episode. Head to Sparkle with Sally, that's for the episode number, sparklewithsally.com/587. Go grab that workbook as we kick off with our theme song. I'll be back in 3.5 as we wait for all our VIPs to join us. Back in 3.5. Get up and dance, baby, dance.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine,
Welcome to Strategy with Sally. Now, tell me in the chat, what's taking up the most of your time lately? Is it client work, admin work, content, team stuff, constant reacting? Let me know in the chat if you're joining us live, even on the replay. Drop the word overwhelmed if it feels like all of it right now is what you're currently doing. All right, welcome to Strategy with Sally. If we haven't yet met, I'm Sally Sparks-Cousins. I'm the founder of OmniSAM, and today we are talking about something I think almost every business owner struggles with at some point in their business. It's actually knowing what deserves your attention, because most businesses don't have a motivation problem. They don't even necessarily have a time problem. They have a priority problem. Yeah, we've got a few overwhelms popping in the chat, right? So I don't mean to be really harsh, but I know that a lot of business owners are trying to build a business, build a brand, systems, marketing, delivery, sales, content, client care, operations, all at the same time. No wonder everything feels urgent, right? So today I wanted to help you simplify that. Not perfectly, you know me, progress over perfection every time, but we're going to do it strategically. So if you haven't yet done so, we have a workbook that you can use after listening to this or have it open throughout the session. Head to sparklewithsally.com/587 for today's episode number. Now, if you've ever ended the day feeling exhausted, raise your hand, let me know. But also feeling like important stuff still didn't actually get done. If that's you, I want you to type yes or type all the time or raise your hand and say, yep, that's me. You see, what I find is the problem isn't because you're lazy. The problem is lack of understanding of what you should be focusing in on. What the rocks actually are, what are just pebbles, and what honestly is just sand. Now, if you haven't heard this analogy before, think about a glass jar. If you were to fill it full of sand and then try to put in some pebbles and then the larger rocks, they can't fit, right? And that's what we tend to do, is we tend to do the sand first. It's the busy work that we see a lot of people doing first. But what you should be doing is prioritizing what are the actual rocks, because if we put the rocks in first, then the pebbles fall around it and the sand fills in the gaps. And the rocks are the things that are actually going to make a big difference in your business. You see, every quarter we choose our top 3 rocks. And if every decision that we make, if it does not actually help a rock, it gets put to later. Don't look at it now, look at it later. So what we need to work out is what the rocks actually are, what are the pebbles, and what are the sand. And when we don't really define those things intentionally, every start actually feels equally important. But you as business owners, what you'll end up then doing is constantly shifting focus, right? And you're living in reactive mode. Who always runs? You hear email, like, I don't know if you get this anymore, but it used to say, you got mail, right? Or that little dot pops up on your phone and you're like, got to check it, right? That's live reactive mode. Or if you don't know what your rocks are, you'll start to say yes to too many things. Or you'll see something new and shiny and you'll be like, yay, something exciting. And you chase that shiny object, but it doesn't actually take your business forward. And another thing we see regularly is overcomplicating systems or just staying busy for busy's sake without actually getting real momentum. I see this all the time with business owners who are doing things like redesigning their branding, tweaking their Canva graphics, rewriting your website again, or reorganizing folders. Who's been guilty of that? In Canva, making pretty graphics while avoiding doing the conversations that you need to be having, creating scalable systems, or making decisions that would actually grow your business. Because what? We're just trying to pick between pink and purple. Because those sand things, those, just the in-between things, they feel productive at the time. And I can tell you a lot of the sand things, it feels like you're moving. But what you're doing is just avoiding a lot of the time what you know you should be doing. Doing those follow-up calls, booking those coffee chats, reaching out to business partners or collaborators. Much more fun to make another ebook, right? So you do the sand, things feel like they're moving, but the things that actually move are the decisions around your rocks. So I want you to think now, what are your sand tasks that you're doing? What's the thing that actually keeps you doing and feeling productive, but you know deep down it's not actually a priority? You're just doing it because it's probably fun or easy or comfortable. You see, here's the mindset shift I really want you to take away from today. The goal is not to fit more in the jar. The goal is to protect the right things first. Because if you start with that sand, you'll always run out of room for those rocks. But when you place the rocks in first, then the pebbles, and then the sand will settle around them. And that is exactly how a strategic business will grow. Not by doing more, but by knowing what actually matters most for you in this season of your business. And that's the most important thing to be focusing in on. Now, there are lots of things in your business that you could focus in on. If we just talk about the 7 stages of the customer's life cycle, the business owner's journey, right? There are 7 different things that you need to be doing in your business. 1 is make sure that you've got a traction plan and your vision set. Number 2 is make sure you've got a clear and easy to understand offer. Number 3 is make sure your tech stack supports growth. Number 4 is messaging and marketing. Number 5 is sales. Number 6 is onboarding and fulfillment, or delivery, you could say. And then after that is evergreening and outsourcing and hiring. Now, we can't work on all of those different areas at the same time. So there will be a particular area that needs the most attention. So if we think about your customer's actual journey through working with you, stage 1 is lead generation. Stage 2 is induction. Stage 3 is nurture to convert. Stage 4 is sales. Stage 5 is onboarding and fulfillment. Stage 6 is upsell. And stage 7 is reviews and referrals. From all of those stages, which do you feel is your biggest gap? The thing that's holding back your growth? If we go back to sort of the end of last year and early this year, ours was onboarding and fulfillment. So we stopped running marketing so that we could fix up the onboarding process and get that minimum viable product awesome, which is what we did for Business in a Box. But then once that's done, we're like, holy crap, we got no more leads coming in. What do I always say? Everyday be marketing, right? We turned off marketing. We definitely saw a big drop in conversions, not straight away, took about 3 or 4 months to see that drop. So now we're really focusing in on sales to get that snowball effect and that momentum back and going. We had a team meeting yesterday, and in that team meeting, we discussed our next 90-day reset, what we're doing, what our most important tasks are. And our most important tasks, if they're not related to sales and retention, and then just cleaning up a couple of the back end things that support sales and retention. If it doesn't fall into one of those buckets, it goes into a later list. So now we have our rocks set, and every staff member has a number that they need to do every day. Some have more than one, but no more than 7. And that is what we focus on, and it helps us make our decisions for everything that we do moving forward. So, for example, if I get asked to go to an event that does not help with sales or retention, I am going to have to say, not right now, right? It's really important. Your rocks will actually change over time depending on the stage of your business. So let's talk more about rocks and what they are in your business. Rocks are the things that create that actual movement. So these are things like generating revenue, creating stability, improving delivery, support for that sustainability and growth, or it moves you closer to the business that you actually want. Right? It could be learning how to hire a team and how to manage a team, which is something that I'm always learning. Right? So some examples of those rocks might be building a consistent lead flow. So one of our clients, she came in 3 years, she grew her email list by 19 emails. Over 3 years, helping people. This is Emma Fisher. She helps large families, usually single parents with children with like ADHD, autism, those types of things. Now, she's been writing books, making lots of helpful guides that she's been selling for the past 3 years, but she only had 19 emails after 3 years. So what we focused in on was building that consistent lead flow. Now, she's not spending a lot of money. Less than $10 a day. I believe it might even be $5 a day. And now she told me last week she's about to crack 200 new emails that have opted in for her free resources. So that's what her focus has been on. And the next thing to do is what is, as I always say, and then what? What happens after those leads come in? What's that next step, right? What will be the offer? So she's now building in her upsell. So other things that you can consider for your rocks are improving your follow-up. So literally over the weekend and last night, I was touching up our follow-up system because we've just got a brand new setter that has joined the team, and I know that I need a clearer follow-up system. Like I always say, I feel like sometimes that chef that doesn't cook at home, right? Because I'm so busy building other people's automations that I neglect my own. So I needed to just clean up a couple of those back ends so that our setter has a very easy system. Another one could be fixing your onboarding. So a really good onboarding. You want to deliver and wow people in the first 30 days, especially up to those 90-day point, because then you are going to reduce that buyer's remorse that might sneak in, right? You want to make sure that your minimum viable product, that first thing and that first experience that people have with you is easy, is clean, is as frictionless as possible. Another thing that you could do for a rock is creating a particular system that might be missing. something in your business that you know that you're doing on repeat manually, taking up, it could be just 5 to 10 minutes a day, but you've got to do it multiple times a day. Stop and ask yourself, can that be automated? Maybe you're not converting like you should be. Then it would be improving your offer. Is it explained clearly? Do you have the 4 Ps for your offer? Do you have the promise, the package, the program, and the price out, mapped out, easy to say, easy to explain without confusing people? Or are you having enough sales conversations? Because if you're not having enough sales conversations, you are never going to hit your income goals. And a really big one is also you as the founder and the CEO, you should also have some protected CEO time. Now, that means that you're working on that more higher level strategy and thinking. That's what I did. Yes, over the weekend, I wrote a full 90-day plan for every single team member, which was, let me have a look, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 team members I wrote a 90-day plan for that was aligned with our major rocks. Like I said, if it's not sales or retention, it goes to the later pile. Now, rocks are not things like changing the font for the 5th time, color coding everything, endless tweaking of your website. What a rock usually is, it is important, it is often uncomfortable, it is not always urgent, but it does usually highly impact your business growth. And this is where a lot of people struggle, because rocks will require you to make decisions, to focus, to be consistent, and to actually set boundaries and sometimes say no. And no is a complete sentence. You don't need to say no and yeah, but, and fill in the gaps. You don't need to say no and explain to people why. If it doesn't align to your quarterly rocks, it goes to the later pile, or just no. So have a think. I want you to choose one rock you already know that you have been avoiding. Put it in the chat for me. All right, pop it in the chat. And if you're on the replay, still put it in the chat. What is one rock you have been avoiding? All right, now pebbles. Now these actually support the main work, right? So pebbles still matter. They're not bad, but they aren't meant to be the first choice. Pebbles should actually support your rocks. So pebbles are things like emails, which we all have to check, admin tasks, paying our bills, scheduling things, editing things, sending out invoices, planning your social media posts, and updating documents. Necessary, yes, but dangerous when they become the main thing, because pebbles can fill your entire week if you let them, just sitting there making social media posts. But are they actually helping your rocks? The issue isn't the task itself, it's actually the order. If the pebble happens before the rock every day, your priorities will slowly go away. So I want you to ask yourself, am I structuring my business around what matters most, or around what is screaming the loudest? Do you feel more stuck in rock avoidance, pebble overload, or sand distraction? Well, let's talk about sand for a bit. Now, sand is lots of that tiny, small stuff. These tiny things that actually steal a lot of capacity. It's the reactive stuff. It's that endless scrolling through social media, thinking to yourself, oh, I'm just doing a little bit of research. It's checking, it's tweaking, it's reacting, it's refreshing. Individually, they're very small, but collectively, it can be exhausting. Sand often looks like things like constantly checking those notifications. You know, those horrible red numbers that show up on your phone? Like my WhatsApp business currently says 137. I need to turn that off. My messages, my private messages say 45. This is why my family, when they need me, they will message my husband or my daughter, because it has now just become white noise. All of these red numbers on my phone, don't even see them. White noise. So sand is reacting to every message. So if you've got those little bings and dings going off on your machine, turn them off. Also, unnecessary meetings. Doing meetings for the sake of doing meetings. I've had to let go of meetings I would like to be in. I have a project manager. I should just be meeting with the project manager, not with all of the other subject matter experts. It's nice to be there and hear them all talk, but is it really worth my time? Another thing I see is over-consuming content. That's when you're stuck in the scroll and you're, in quotation marks, doing research. Yeah, sure. I'm somebody who loves to funnel hack and go through people's funnels, but if it's not helping and it's not creative avoidance, which I do choose to do some creative avoidance, but not when I'm trying to do stuff that's actually moving me forward. Another huge thing is perfectionism. You're trying to create a logo or choose your font or even just choose between light pink, medium pink, and dark pink. Perfectionism is sand, redoing work repeatedly or constantly changing direction because a new shiny thing comes in. You see, what the sand tasks do is they create the illusion of progress, but it's fragments that actual focus that you need. And fragmented focus actually destroys that momentum that will help you move forward. So before you add anything this week, this is what I want you to do. I want you to say, is this a rock? Is it a supporting pebble? Or is it just sand? What happens if I don't do it right now? If I don't do it right now, what will be the worst thing that could happen? If I don't follow up with those customers, I could lose that revenue. If I don't design that pretty graphic, nothing much is going to change, right? So that question alone, that'll change everything. What happens if I don't do it right now? Now, if I was building or rebuilding my business today, I would stop trying to focus on everything at once. Building a business and choosing the right tasks and making decisions and getting uncomfortable, it never goes away. The choices may change, the uncomfortable level changes, but as a business owner, always know you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to choose what's most important, what's uncomfortable and sometimes most important, right? And perfectionism. I would definitely kick perfection out the door. Everything you do, if you're launching a business and you're trying to make it perfect before launching, is just slowing you down. Launch messy, because the more things that you hear from the actual people you're working with, the more you can improve the program. If you don't have clients, you're just guessing what you think that they want. Until you actually work with people, then that's when you get the real change. The other thing is making sure that you've got this massive platform or tech stack that does everything straight away. You don't need that. To be honest, I launched my business for years with just a funnel. No website, just a funnel. And we were able to grow to multiple six figures before I built a website. And the other thing you don't need to do is build really complicated systems. Like when we build for our clients and for you guys, we try to make that build as simple as possible in the early days, especially while you're still learning. And honestly, I'd stop glorifying being busy. How are you busy? How's your week been? I'm so busy. Busy is not the goal. Getting momentum is. Getting clear on what's important is. Having the actual capacity to do the things that are most important, that's the goal, not I've been so busy. So I would focus on one core offer, one lead source or traffic source, one follow-up process, and one system at a time. So when I began, my very first offer was how to go live on social media. I literally was selling a go live course, how to go live, because it was a thing that I struggled with. And my one lead source was Facebook. My follow-up process was our 9-step follow-up, which is one of my best shower thoughts I've shared in previous episodes. And I built it with one funnel system, right? That way you can protect your rocks. You really need to protect them, fiercely protect them, because every time you say yes to sand, it is actually no to something that's more important. All right, you know we're here. We're at our GSD for today. So our GSD, and it's inside your workbook. Go to sparklewithsally.com/587 for today's episode. But I want you to identify your top 3 rocks for this quarter. Not 27, not your entire vision board, just 3. So then once you've chosen the first 3 that you're just going to use to help you make decisions for the next quarter, I want you to ask, what needs to happen first? What have I been avoiding? And what is actually revenue moving or stability and scalability building? And then choose one rock to prioritize this week. Just one. Remember, progress over perfection. And when you're making progress, that will create that movement and momentum. You do not need to fix your entire business in a week, okay? So drop your one rock in the chat if you're here live or you're watching on the replay, or if you're listening on the podcast, shoot us an email or a DM, okay? Let us know that you've chosen your rock. You can also head to our GSD by OmniSAM Facebook group. Commit to that rock, that one rock for the week. And then every time you go to make a decision, make sure you're asking yourself, does that align with my rock? Is it a pebble or is it just sand? Okay, so I hope today has really reminded you that you don't need to carry around everything in your head and do everything all at once. You don't actually need to master every single platform either. You don't even need a perfect system built overnight. You definitely don't need to keep drowning in that sand just so that you feel busy for busy's sake. You need to get clear around what matters most, what you need in this season that you are in your business, and what deserves your actual energy right now. And if you want support building your business in the right order with your systems and automations, follow-ups and structures, then that's where we can step in. We actually have a business growth scorecard that you can take that will allow you to see where you are in your business, but also where your biggest gaps are. So if you head to our website, omnisam.com.au, Under resources, you will find that quiz for the business growth scorecard. Head there, do the scorecard. It may be an eye opener for you to help you actually decide which rocks to choose, the things that have the biggest gaps in your business. So just again, go to omnisam.com.au, then have a look in the main menu for resources and head to business growth scorecard. If you downloaded today's workbook, I believe it's also on the back page there. Once you know what your gaps are, then you can make the right decisions so that you can start actually working on things that are important. Like I said, sometimes they're going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be the thing that you actually want to do, like, because making pretty pictures is definitely the thing that I prefer to do. But is it bringing you new customers, or is it supporting the current customers that you already have? All right. As always, guys, never let anyone. Oh, actually, no. Let's see who we've got here. We've got Sharon in the room. Sharon, what was your key takeaway from today? Oh, I've got to add her. Here she comes. Hello, Sharon. Just start talking. Hello.
Hi.
There she is.
Mine is procrastinating about the one thing and not finishing it. Like my funnel, I've been doing it for weeks.
It's ready. It's ready.
But it's not.
Well, we need to turn it on and go through it, and I'll have a look at it in AMA today. But it needs to be turned on, right?
Yeah, I know.
The minimum viable thing that you can have in your funnel is your opt-in landing page with a button to opt in that triggers an email to send the freebie.
And it's the emails that I haven't done.
One email.
So
just do one for now. Here's your freebie.
Right.
Attach the PDF.
My funnel is my sand, my pebble, and my rocks at the moment.
Yeah. So overcomplicating it, because you have our GPT. Your 5 emails can be written if you want all of those 5 done today.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then it's turning it on, right?
Yeah.
And getting traffic into it. It isn't that you're lazy. It is just that you procrastinate, because once you turn it on, guess what you're going to have to do? Follow up. Talk to people. Reach out to people.
Yeah.
Right? The building and turning it on, that once that's done, that's when the real work's going to start. So after we've turned it on, like let's take Emma as an example. She didn't even have an offer on her thank you page. You know, I talk about that being a dead end, but she didn't have an offer. That's okay. But she started growing her list anyway. You know, so the longer you wait, you can't get those days back to grow that list. So as we head into GSD today, my challenge for you is we've got 3 hours for you to put the finishing touches on that funnel and change nothing else. And then all you need to do is focus on, how do we get traffic in here? How do we get out there and help some beautiful people? All right. So as we wrap up today, just want to say to you all, you're all doing amazing things, and sometimes we just need somebody to tell us, and I do. I've got a business coach. We just need somebody to tell us what we don't see yet, the things that we need to be doing because we're making bad choices. I mean, I've had a very long conversation with my business coach about things I was focusing in on as well. That is why I sat down this weekend and I wrote a 90-day reset plan so that I could focus on those things that are most important rather than, you know, fixing an SEO thing here or writing a blog over there and editing a video that's really just education when I've got so much education out there already. I should be focusing in on partnerships and events, which is where we're heading this year, which we've talked a lot about. So no matter where you're listening to this, whether you're listening to it via the podcast, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, I want you to please comment or send us a DM on what your one rock is. Grab your workbook to help you figure that out and then work on a plan. I truly believe in all of you. You've got an amazing gift that you help people with. But in order to grow and to have that income that supports the lifestyle that I'm sure everybody has been trying to create, that's why we start a business in the first place, right? One is to help people. The second is to create a lifestyle that's a bit more freedom, right? You don't have to get up early or work late. That being said, when you really love what you do, you still do that anyway because we love what we do. We live and breathe it. But that being said, we do want choice to take time off as well. All right, guys. Never let anyone dull your sparkle. Make sure you get at least one income-producing activity done every day, and every day be marketing. I'll see you all on our next live, same time next week. Bye for now.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long.